Hi, welcome. I'm going to talk to you today about how to convert a Futaba FP-T4FN or T5FN or T6FN into an RTV transmitter with a lot of functionality. So what is an FP-T4FN? Well, it's a style of transmitter that Futaba put out in early 80s. It might have been the late 70s. I don't recall. I remember seeing my dad use them. My dad has been a radio fanatic for years, since I was a kid in the 70s. And these things have always been around our house. So I've gathered a few of them here today to show you what is and what isn't, and then we can get into how to modify it. So this one is a 3FN. You can tell because it's only got 3 channels. I don't recommend this. It does limit the functionality, and this one has a different meter as well. It just doesn't seem to be the right one for this job. This is a 4FN. It's only got 4 channels. It's got a little block here. The ones they had in the movies, they had one 3FN and one 4FN. They had 2 of them, and they were different. If you happen to run into Futaba radio with the wrong meter, chances are it's got the wrong back end as well. These have a stand on them, and that's what they did have in the movie. They had 2 with stands. Not the end of the earth. It still looks right. The shape of the body is right. Not the end of the earth. That's the thing. The other part is that the meter itself can be converted if you're very precise in taking things apart. You can take that apart. I made some stickers that fit inside the meter to convert it, to make it look like the regular kind. And here, I mean, we'll take a close look. This is the difference between the 2 of them now. And last but not least, here we've got a 6FN, 6 channel. Now, 4, 5, and 6, those are the ones that I recommend. If you happened to get something with the right shape of the body, it's got the stand on the back, but the gimbals are the wrong color, this will still work with this. If you happen to have an Attack 4 old one, well, I can tell you it still works with it. This is my test rig. This is the one I use to test as I was making this, and this thing's been reprogrammed, I don't know, like hundreds of times, but it's great. It functions, and no problem. This is another one that I've converted, and if you wanted, you could use the Conquest. Like it wouldn't matter what you wanted to use, you could make it work. I'm going to tell you that the stuff that I've got will fit very nicely in this style of body and won't fit as nicely in these. So let's get to it. I've got a 4-channel Futaba radio that we're going to convert into a Ghostbusters RTV radio. In order to open the back, there's a little squeeze there, and you can see the 2 little ball detents that fit into those holes. Pull that guy off, and you can put it aside because we won't need it for a while. So those 4 screws will come out, but before we take those out, let's cut these wires, and we can just cut all those wires. Some of them we're going to be reusing, but cutting them isn't a big deal. Now when we take these screws out, you don't need to save the screws or the board. Sometimes it's a little tough when you forget some of the wires. You cut those wires as well. And that is for recycling. So take it to your recycling depot. Let's take the battery out as well. you never know what kind of shape they're in, and that's one of the issues with them. This one doesn't look that great. I don't want to strip that screw though, because those screws are they're very long and they're tough to get a hold of. You can see all the corrosion on it. There we go. That's off. I've never seen the heat shrink on top of the whole case before, but those batteries that are inside there are going to need to be replaced anyway. They're probably old NiCads. We'll put that aside. And we're going to unbundle all these wires because we're going to need to separate them all in order to reuse the ones we're going to reuse and unsolder the ones we're not going to use. That little board right there, it's not needed either. We can unscrew that. And a little couple M2.5 screws that you may be able to reuse. Now when you're cutting the wires off here, you can cut them pretty short so they don't get in the way of anything else. There we go. Nice to have them out of the way. I opened that battery pack and this is what it looked like. That's a pretty sad state of affairs. And that corrosion sometimes climbs up the battery wires and onto other wires. Hopefully that's not the case. This is the case. It doesn't look that bad. We'll clean that out and put a new battery pack in it. And here is what the new battery pack looks like. Nickel metal hydride, a little bit nicer to use than NiCads. Fits into the case just like that. And you can screw that back in to where the original batteries were. So the wires on the meter, we're going to be desoldering those. We can cut this antenna wire off. Get that out of the way. All right, so yeah, more unraveling going on here. So on the bottom of these potentiometers, there's usually black wires, and they're all connected together, and that's the ground. So we're going to leave those connected together. So the potentiometers have 3 pins. There's the bottom pin in this case, you know, the one that's closest to the front of the chassis of the transmitter. And then there's the center one, which is the sweep, and then the top one, which we're going to connect to positive. Oh, some of these are pretty tough to get apart. Looks like these wires are so old they've stuck together. They've stuck together so well that without, I think I'm going to end up sacrificing them and putting in new wires as a result. We'll cut this guy off. Not needed. More recycling. There we go. We'll desolder those. We're going to put new connectors on for those. This one, we think that's going to connect, but oh look, the connector's different. So we're going to be replacing, yeah, we'll replace that one. So we'll desolder that as well. More wires to untangle. I think they're all stuck together. Oh, this one isn't as bad. And I can still talk slowly when I'm moving this quickly. That's the magic of video. All right, little untangling. So that's positive, that's positive. So those are the top thirds. And here's a picture describing what those positive potentiometers look like. Yeah, we'll desolder the center ones on all of these, but the top ones, we're going to put them all together. So this one will go there. As long as it's out of the way of the gimbal, you're all good. So, yep, the grounds are going to be connected, and they're going to be connected to the black wire on that lead, and then the top one to the red wire on that lead. The top ends are going to be the positive, so let's get these cut. This one goes over here, so give it a little bit extra, about a 1/2 inch extra length, then strip it. Yeah, it's looking good. Some work in here that requires some drilling, so I'm going to take the wires out that don't need to be here, mark our holes front and back, go drill them. One thing I find, I'll try and get it, yeah, if I can get it over here, that'd be good. I find that if you don't pin your soldering iron, it's hard to get the wires off. You need something to conduct the heat. There we go, that one's good. That one's off. Sorry. Foleta. Make sure you don't melt the plastic when you're doing this. It's pretty easy to get overzealous and miss and hit the plastic with the soldering iron. It's a little bit cleaner. I like it. I like it a lot. We're going to have to take this off and mark the center hole. We're going to have to mark the back, and then we mark the top. So to mark the top, got a jig, front edge. All right, so we get these lined up. Oh, this one we don't need to worry about. That's 1/2 inch hole, 1/2 inch hole, 1/4 inch hole, 1/4 inch hole. So we've got these marked. They're nice and straight. I'm going to punch them and drill them with the size holes that are here. Punch and mark a hole here, and punch and mark holes here. This one fits in between. There's 2 marks to make here and 2 marks to make here. There we go. We'll take this off. So that loosens up this guy. And the reason we want to loosen up this guy is because the red button switch goes right in the middle of this. And it's really hard to drill through both, so we're going to cut this and drill this. Now, let me get the... Why don't I have marked? I have designed a jig to tell me where to drill that hole for the red switch. Right there. And this one, it goes underneath inside. Well, it's actually like this. And it's going to be like that, so from what I can tell, well, I've drawn it on this side because I copied it from another one I've got, but it comes from this corner and then about here like that. It's really easy to just cut a V out. If you try and cut it round, good luck trying to get anything through this. This is really thick stuff. So I've got all the holes marked. I'm going to go and drill them and cut this out. Alright, we're back. Got a 1/2 inch hole here, 2 1/2 inch holes. This one was already there for the 2 switches and for the antenna, and this one for the switch. Cut this one down so when it goes in here, like so, you still have the battery holder holes, and there's room for the switch. And also put the holes for the ribbon cable and for the back. Now the one thing I didn't do, okay, so I did the this thing, the ribbon cable Duma flinger, and the hole is a little bit loose. I may have to glue that in, but I just did it with a razor knife. I cut it open, marked it, and on the other side, the D-rings, we want to make sure that the D-ring actually sits flat. If you're here, it's up. So you want it over the edge where this angle starts to go down, and in this case a little bit forward of center because there's the door there. So we'll do a little bit forward of center on this one too. You can see the marks I've made. They're not that far. The throttle on the ESCs likes to have a center point, and this is throttle. On an airplane it's fine, you know, that's what these were made for, but you really want to get this thing to center. In order to remove the throttle piece and actually fix this so the spring here works, this is a pretty weak spring here. I think we'll replace that with a better spring as well. We may trade it for the one across here, or if you've got a spare. If not, just switch this one with this one. We're going to take this side off. Add a rod onto this so that it pushes these springs. See the way this one, when it moves, it pushes the spring out of the way? This one does not. Yeah, that's what we got to fix on this guy. I don't know why this one wasn't broken. Weird. It was hiding. So we'll take this guy right off. There. And that is what makes the noise with this thing. Alright, so I drilled a 2.5 millimeter hole in there. Now I'm gonna tap it for 3 mils. M3. And I'll put a screw in there and maybe a dab of crazy glue just so it never moves. Let's go with a 10. All right. 10 millimeter. There we go. So we're going to start this on the inside. Thread. And there we go. Wow, there's starting to be a mess in here. I wasn't expecting this bit. Oh, where are we at? Yeah, getting there. And this one? Oh, better. I hope. Yikes, I don't like that much. Okay, now when we put this back in, we'll get it in the right place. Oh, now we just gotta get this guy back on too. I think maybe you do this first. Oh, there we go. And then put this together. Oh, let's make sure that's in place. It doesn't feel very good, I'll tell you. Oh, the screw's too long. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Let's get this back together. Get these up. This guy goes in here. This one goes on there. That feels a lot better. Seems to work. Okay. So we can do that, but the other screw appears to be stuck in here. Oh darn, I should have taken it out. That was not the best idea. There we go. Okay, so now we've got this, our trim works, yay. I think this is just another weak spring, yeah, just like that one. So I'm going to steal this guy on this side. I mean, if worse comes to worse, you can use a spring from a pen. Alright, come on. Facing this way. Alright. Okay, now let's get those trims back in the right place. Make sure there's no wires underneath and put this back together. Alright, and we should probably put another spring on here. I'm going to go look for one and I'll be right back. I've taken most of the stuff out. We're going to start by, well, I'll fix this, I guess. First things first. I guess I broke it. How's that looking? It doesn't look that good. Let's see how far up it goes. Ah, it's, so I think we're replacing this whole wire. Darn. It's corroded because of the batteries all the way to here, and it could be corroded all the way back to here. Let's just see. We'll cut a little bit more off and see how far it went. Yeah, that is blacker than black, man. So that's a lot of corrosion. Oh well. Yeah, bad batteries or old batteries will do that to you. Oh, that's all soldered in. How lovely. This is that bad one that's corroded to heck. All the way to heck. It's corroded. We're going to get rid of this wire. A little bit of black wire here. Is that going to be long enough? Okay, get rid of some of the excess. So I'm replacing the wire that goes from the bottom of the switch. These two on the bottom go to the charge port. And the nice part about that is then when your transmitter's off, you can charge the batteries with the charge port, which is the right way to do it. Oops. Don't move after you've soldered. Okay, so now we've got, we'll get that going here. Alright, we'll get this on here. Once I peel back a little bit of insulation and tin it. Okay, so that's now back in commission. I cleaned it up when you guys weren't looking. Okay, so the black, we've got the black going to the ground, to the ground, to the ground. So these four are grounded, and we add a ground from the PC board, so that's fine. This one, we can go... This black one that's down here, we can just put it up to the meter. That's no problem. Just cut a tiny bit extra on that. I'll just tin that and tack it to the meter for now. we'll tack something else to the meter in a bit. So, oh, didn't do a good job of tinning that, did I? We can't get this on there. Wow, it does not like that. Maybe a little bit of flux will help. Okay, so now we've got that one going. So I don't need to worry about the ground wires. This one is the positive, and the positives have to go to one another. So I want one that goes here, from here to here, and then I want one that goes from here to here.
Right, so I'll peel this back. I'm going to put these together so they stick on. Yeah, could have made them a bit longer. Alright, tin those together and then we'll tack them onto that pot. Okay.
And make sure you're not burning the plastic when you're doing this. Oops. There we go. And this one we're going to tack over here. I'm going to get it around because we're going to work in here later. And I don't want things in my way. So I'm going to try and get this over here sort of like that. There we go. And that is hot on the finger. All right. This one we're going to put over here. And then we have positive to all 4 potentiometers. Or at least they're positive as possible on all 4. I don't know if I blocked that or not. Well, hopefully you saw that, but there you go. Alright, so we've got this. Oh, this one needs to be replaced too. So we need something for this. Oh look, that other one fit right in this case beautifully. It's got a 3-pin, so we want the other side of 3-pin. This one's got 3 uneven pins, like it's a 4-pin connector. So, you know what? Probably just easier to lose that and put in the right thing. Get rid of that. The important thing to know is that red is right. These 2 middle ones connect to the bottom ones when it's off. These 2 middle ones connect to the top ones when it's on. So I put you and I will put the power to our new board to the top. This one seems okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's gonna work. All right, and we want it around here, about this length. And I don't care for the white one, so get rid of that. Alright, plan B, I don't care for it, I'm going to get rid of it right here. There we go. Split this off. In fact, I might just tin them before I put them through that thing. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, so this guy goes in right here. Let's get that out of the way. All right. What am I pushing against? Oh, that's interesting. This thing's got a little tab on it there. Oh, I should say had a little tab on it there. Now it does not. This one's going to go that way. Whoops. So this is the board holder, and we want to leave room for the batteries that go here. Good. Now, for M2.5, this is what the transmitter is perched on. And it goes here, where that other board used to go. So your Arduino board fits. This is the Arduino board. This is the what did I call it? TX-RF. So TX transmitter RF, and it goes in just like that. So that's in, and these guys, the LEDs. Now, I think it's best that they go sideways. There's one. There's those two. Now, when you're putting these in, make the wires at the back, because then this is off and forward is on, which makes sense to most people, I hope. Just give it a little tighten. We can do the antenna before those switches. So here's the antenna. We're going to do about here. And oh, maybe this was the better way? Yeah, okay. Wasn't a bad way of doing it. And then we try and pull the center out, because that's what's inside, is just a coily thing. And you make it a little lighter by doing that. Now it goes, when it goes in, it goes into like here. So you can cut off to about here. So I'm going to cut up here, cut that off, and then I'm going to start making a straight cut. There. Antenna. I had the wrong size for this. I thought it was 5/16. It's 3/8. So goes in pretty easily. Push from the bottom and pull up. And wow, there it is. It sits in the third ring, and you can see 2 rings. So that antenna's in. That's good. All right. So this is black button. Black button, you go to the front and middle. Leave the back one alone. Is black and red. And the nice part is then the meter actually works. The power goes to these two down in there. Down in there. I am going to tin these. They look like they are tinned, actually. Alright. Get a little flux on them. It's funny, this is sort of right at the end of where my soldering iron can reach from my workbench, because I'm filming here. It's not perfect. Then we'll finish up the soldering and we'll do the rest. This guy now. Oh, and the red button goes in here. Okay, so red and black are gonna go. Let's get this guy out of the way. And we'll tie up all of the wires to run down the center after. It'll be nice and neat. These go down here and then come up to here. And it's red and black, so I'm going to leave them about, I don't know, about a ½ inch longer than I think I want them. And then tin these.
Come on. There we go, the black one goes down on the bottom, and that supplies power to all of the potentiometers on the gimbals. Well, actually supplies ground. The red one supplies power, let's face it. This one supplies that power. Alright, there we go. Done my dinner. So those are done, and they will tuck in like that. Now the first one, the white one, goes right here to the center. So we'll just make sure it's just a tad longer than we want it again. Tin that. I put it away.
And it goes onto the center pin, which is the sweep of the potentiometer. There we go. So that's done. And look, 4 channels. Ah, shocking how all that works. The second one. You can't cut something longer afterwards, so I prefer to have a little bit extra. Alright, and let's tin these 3. Alright, so that's all soldered in place. We've got power, meter. Okay. Oh, and we got the batteries. Make sure that that's up here. Yeah, good. This will reach over here. Yes, it will. Woohoo! We are cooking with gas. This, oh darn, I put this in the wrong place. So there are 2 short ones, and I make one with a longer wire and one with a shorter wire because the shorter wire goes here. Darn. I should be paying attention to my own instructions. I'm going to take this guy out and move him over to here. Sorry, I'm not showing you, am I? Alright, so wires go to the back. Make sure that we're covering the hole as much as possible. And tighten this guy up. Good. Wires at the back. Good. Alright, next one. Oh, I just took it out. Let's put it back in. Love doing that. Let's see how many times. So wires to the back. How many times can we do stuff? Now on these, this one has the lock. One didn't seem to. I don't know. Like I said, just trying to make it as accurate as I can to what I saw. I should really check that again, eh? Wires to the back, not to the front. Wow. This one's moved forward a bit. I think that's what I'm going to do there. That's what Alright. Where'd you go? There you are. Oh, I should put this stuff away. Alright. Good. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more switch. Very thin two-sided tape that puts this in the right center, and then we'll use a little bit here, or maybe both, and get it to stick here. Stand by. You know what? I ended up gluing this. I've got some ultra thick crazy glue. I'm just going to put a dab here. And another one here. And then when we get this in, we'll settle it in the right place so it's centered properly. Okay, yeah, we're good. I put the nut, the lime and the coconut. So you can see, but I don't think it's that important that you see, honestly. It's just going to be tighter. Okay, there we go. That's about as tight as I can get it, and it looks, well, looks off center. Dang. Because it is off center. That drives me crazy. That's where it should be. Okay, let's do this again. Come on. Come on, little doggy. And now we put our receiver on. So the receiver, there's a little tab on here that goes inward. So it goes this way. Push that on, and it goes in like so. Alright, so the soldering's done. I did have to change the meter in this one. The meter was a dud. That was too bad. And I put in one that that's just a sticker that I put over top of another meter, so it looks a little bit better, although most people wouldn't be able to tell the difference, frankly. Or out, but I couldn't pull that out if I wanted to. So what I'm going to do is put a couple dabs of glue inside, and then I'm going to put a couple of dabs of glue here and then pull it through. Remember, the purple goes up and it breaks at the brown black, and you'll peel it all, you'll split it all after, but don't split it until you've put it through. Or not. There we go. And why aren't you going in? You're sticking to my finger really well. Ah! Ow! There we go. Oh, there. Now it's in and it's glued, and this is at the top. Yay, hurrah. Yes, watch your fingers when you're doing this. This is a Prusa thing I picked up from them. You put 2 square nuts in here, and then when the screws come through the other side, the screw goes through the nut and then holds on to the wire. It's, I thought it was a pretty clever design when I did that. So that goes this way, so the wire goes all the way through this whole thing. And it comes around the back side, so it is like this to go in. Please go in. Get it in, so I'm not going to put it on yet. I'm going to put the other piece on here, and this one, it's an M510. I think it's an M510 that I'm using. And I used a silver. Wow, this doesn't feel very good. I gotta say, I prefer black that's painted. The silver, it might be nice, but I'm not even showing you. Yeah, brutal, dude. There we go. There's the one. Oh, where's the hole? There. F10. Get it started here. It should be getting going in here. I think I'm going to redo these anyway. That hold this on. We can put those in. Oh, I see magic. Da, 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 da. I thought that was a 2.5. 3. Well, wouldn't you know it, the battery died just as I was putting that in. So the 2 screws go in here. You end up having the wire that looks like this. You bend it forward a bit. That looks an awful lot like what it did in the movie. And then you can put your back on. The back. Tape goes around, and then you can cut it here because that's what they did, and you can cut it here, and then it looks like it's complete, but you can still get this apart if you need to. And if you're wondering what this is, that is the serial number that I use for the transmitter. And there it is, done. Well, I hope you found that useful, and I hope that when you're building your transmitter that things go smoothly.